the world awoke to a headline that quietly rippled through financial news, catching the attention of investors, analysts, and ordinary citizens alike. In the early hours, as city skylines glowed and coffee brewed in bustling kitchens, a sense of anticipation filled the air. The headline read, "China unveils 2026 BRICS financial architecture." It was a simple phrase, but its implications were anything but ordinary. News anchors scrambled to interpret the announcement, while social media buzzed with speculation and debate. There were no grand speeches or dramatic gestures, just a series of precise, carefully worded statements from the People's Bank of China and finance ministers representing the BRICS nations. The world watched as these leaders outlined their vision with calm confidence. Contrary to rumors of a sudden gold-backed currency, the plan was pragmatic and multi-pronged. It aimed to build a parallel financial system, one anchored by the renminbi, but open to innovation and collaboration. The strategy was methodical, designed to gradually shift the balance of global finance. Instead of launching a direct assault on the US dollar, China offered the world an alternative, a carefully constructed escape route for nations weary of US monetary dominance and the vulnerabilities it brings. This was a subtle invitation, not a declaration of war. The 2026 plan set a clear and ambitious deadline for a new financial infrastructure. It was a blueprint for the future, signaling a shift in how money would move across borders and how economies would interact. At its core was an expanded cross-border interbank payment system, designed to rival SWIFT, along with digital currency bridges that would connect economies seamlessly. The digital yuan stood at the center, promising speed, security, and transparency. Alongside these innovations, the plan introduced a framework for debt restructuring, offering hope to countries burdened by unsustainable loans and financial instability. It was a lifeline for many developing nations. The message was unmistakable. While the West was distracted by its own challenges, China and the BRICS alliance were quietly building the foundation for a new era in global finance. The world's economic center of gravity was beginning to shift. The long-held assumption of dollar dominance was being quietly, but firmly, challenged. Analysts on Wall Street and beyond began to question what the future might hold. This wasn't about detonating the old system overnight. Instead, it was about offering a better, more efficient, and more inclusive alternative, especially for the developing world, which had long felt sidelined by the existing order. In the financial centers of New York, London, and Tokyo, the tremor was felt immediately. Bankers, traders, and policymakers watched the news unfold, realizing that the rules of the game were about to change. It was as if the official starting gun for a new world of money had just been fired. The countdown to 2026 had begun, and the race to adapt was on. The global financial order, long taken for granted, was on the verge of transformation. New alliances, new technologies, and new ambitions were converging to reshape the landscape. And it all began with a headline, one that would echo through boardrooms, trading floors, and government halls for years to come, marking the dawn of a new financial era. To grasp the moment's gravity, you must understand what BRICS has become. Once dismissed as a loose group of rivals, BRICS now includes energy giants like Saudi Arabia and the UAE, plus Egypt, Ethiopia, and Iran. Together, they represent a massive share of global population, GDP, and energy. The idea of a gold-backed BRICS currency once captured imaginations, but practical hurdles, like managing supply and sovereignty, proved insurmountable. Internal debates were fierce, especially with India wary of losing monetary control. The dream of a single currency was powerful, but not feasible for now. BRICS needed a more pragmatic approach, and China was ready to provide it. The 2026 master plan marks a pivot from the gold-backed currency dream to a renminbi-centered reality. China's strategy: use its own rising currency as the settlement and financing tool for BRICS and partners. Instead of forcing a single monetary policy, China offers a ready-made solution, integrating its payment system with BRICS nations to bypass the dollar and SWIFT. For sanctioned or dollar-weary countries, this is a lifeline. The renminbi becomes the bridge for international transactions, not a domestic replacement. Digital currency tech makes settlements fast and cheap. The focus shifts from creating a new store of value to building a new system of payment. Each BRICS member keeps its own policy, but benefits from a de-dollarized network. The dollar's dominance isn't toppled overnight, it's eroded, step by step. What gives the renminbi credibility? China's unmatched productive capacity. A currency's strength comes from real goods and services, and China is the world's manufacturing powerhouse. Borrowing in dollars to buy Chinese goods creates costly currency mismatches for developing nations. China's model: lend in renminbi, pay Chinese firms directly, and repay with earnings from new infrastructure. This closed loop is efficient and less risky. The renminbi is a direct claim on the world's most powerful productive engine. For the global south, it's a currency tied to real development, not speculation. The US and China represent two starkly different economic models, each shaping the world in its own image. Their rivalry is not just about power, but about which vision of prosperity will define the future. America's strength lies in finance, services, and the global reach of the dollar. Wall Street is its command center, orchestrating the flow of capital across continents. The US financial system is built on innovation, risk-taking, and the promise of high returns, attracting investors from every corner of the globe. In contrast, China's foundation is industrial production and massive infrastructure projects, not just capital allocation. Its economic engine is powered by factories, construction sites, and a relentless drive to build and export. The US offers liquidity and easy borrowing, providing nations with access to dollars and credit, but often, these financial flows don't translate into real development. Many countries are left with debt, but without the roads, bridges, or factories they need to grow. China's approach is different. Its loans come bundled with construction crews, equipment, and technical expertise. It's a package deal that delivers tangible results: new highways, railways, ports, and power plants that can transform economies. For developing nations, the choice is becoming clear: abstract capital and promises from the West, or delivered infrastructure and visible progress from China. The impact is felt in skylines, in jobs, and in the daily lives of millions. As more countries seek real, lasting economic growth, China's model, grounded in production and construction, grows more attractive. It offers a path from poverty to prosperity that is visible and immediate. The finance-first system, long dominant, now faces a serious challenge from this production-backed development model. The competition is reshaping global priorities and alliances. The global balance is shifting as trade routes, investments, and influence move toward new centers of power. The world's leaders are watching, calculating, and making choices that will define the next era. The world is watching and choosing. Every summit, every deal, every new project is a step toward a new global order. The workshop of the world is rewriting the rules, and the outcome will shape the lives of billions for generations to come. China is no longer just the world's factory. It's become the conductor of the global supply chain, orchestrating the movement of goods, resources, and capital on a scale never seen before. What was once a nation known for mass production is now the nerve center, coordinating the flow of products and materials that power the world's economies. The Belt and Road Initiative, or BRI, is at the heart of this transformation. By building roads, railways, ports, and digital networks, China is weaving together Asia, Africa, and Europe, connecting distant markets directly to Beijing's economic engine. This vast infrastructure project is more than just construction. It's a blueprint for a new era of global trade. These ports, railways, and pipelines aren't just isolated projects. They're the arteries and veins of a new, Sino-centric economy. Goods, energy, and data now flow through networks designed and controlled by China, giving it unprecedented influence over global commerce. By financing and building this vast network, China is able to reorient global trade flows around itself, making it the indispensable hub for international business. Every new rail line or port built strengthens China's grip on the world's supply chains. As these trade routes expand, using the renminbi for international transactions becomes the logical next step. The more countries trade through Chinese infrastructure, the more they rely on China's currency, shifting the balance of financial power. BRICS partners, and many others, now gain access to the world's most dynamic supply chain and a new financial system that challenges the old order. This opens up opportunities for emerging economies to participate in global trade on their own terms. For example, a Vietnamese manufacturer can now source raw materials, assemble products, and ship them worldwide, all financed and settled in renminbi, bypassing traditional Western financial systems and reducing costs and risks. The more countries and companies use Chinese-built infrastructure, the more they turn to the renminbi for trade and settlement. This creates a self-reinforcing cycle, deepening China's economic reach and influence. China's role as the conductor of global trade and finance continues to grow, integrating supply chains, investment, and payments into a seamless, interconnected system. The US dollar remains important, but it's no longer the only player in the orchestra. The world is witnessing the rise of a new conductor, and the music of global trade is changing. Africa offers a real-world example of this shift. Kenya, burdened by dollar debt, faced soaring costs as the US raised rates. Instead of a Western bailout, China offered to convert some debt to renminbi and settle future trade in RMB. This move stabilized Kenya's budget and created a self-sustaining loop: sell goods to China, earn renminbi, repay loans and build more infrastructure. It's a shift from debt trap to trade partnership. Kenya's pivot is a blueprint for others. The Chinese model links finance directly to trade and development. It's not about aid with strings, but mutual benefit. Other nations are taking notice. The move away from dollar dependence is accelerating. Kenya's move sparked a domino effect across the global south. Countries from Southeast Asia to Latin America see a path to stability and development on their own terms. Brazil and Argentina now trade billions with China in local currencies and renminbi, bypassing the dollar. For Argentina, it's a lifeline after years of dollar crises. In the Middle East, Saudi Arabia and the UAE are considering pricing oil in renminbi, a potential end to the petrodollar era. Each new agreement strengthens the renminbi's role. China isn't dictating terms, it's offering a better deal. The network grows organically, one pragmatic decision at a time. A parallel financial system is emerging. The world is choosing what works. The 2021 Salan, Shaper Standard Yasten Klotsen Swandesa, Shiaken Dans Konimbor Jag. Master Plan formalizes this quiet revolution. It's not a war on the dollar, but a declaration of independence from it. The plan launches an expanded CIPS, rivaling SWIFT for BRICS plus nations. A BRICS credit rating agency will challenge Western dominance and offer fairer terms. National currencies and digital bridges, especially China's ECNY, enable instant low-cost transactions. The system is multipolar, with the renminbi as anchor but room for others. For the first time in decades, there's a real alternative to the dollar-centric order. The US loses its exclusive power to sanction and exclude. The way the world trades, borrows, and builds is about to change. Forever. The quiet revolution is here.